Are you stressed out? Are you frustrated? Is your life going all wrong? Your people at work are pissing you off. Your family's irritating you. You're worried about your finances all the time. Well, let me just raise your stress level just a little bit, because stress, chronic stress, will kill you. You will die an early death. It will send you to your early grave. So today we're going to talk about stress and how it affects your body, what you can do to combat the effects of stress so that you don't die early. Now, stress is a really complex subject and we can't cover it all in one video, so we're going to be making future videos and go into more detail about this subject. But today we're going to touch on the basic foundation of what stress is, what it's doing to your body, so that you can do something about it. You don't have to die early. What is stress? Well, stress is a natural emotional response to a perceived danger, and that can include anger or fear. Now, in psychological terms, it's known as the fight or flight response. So in the case of anger, your body is preparing you to engage in physical combat. In the case of fear, your body is preparing you to run away as fast as you possibly can. So let's think about this. Way back in our history, this stress mechanism was actually appropriate. You either ate something or it ate you. So your body had to be prepared to either combat whatever was attacking you to protect yourself, or you had to be able to run away as fast as you possibly could. Well, things have changed. In our modern day society, when you get pissed off because your boss is stressing you out, it's actually not okay to go kill your boss. And the same thing goes with if some guy cuts you off, it's not okay to go ram that car. So things have changed. That stress mechanism that was appropriate back in the day is actually not as appropriate now as it once was. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you about is the mind-body connection, how the mind affects how the body works. Have you ever been scared? Maybe you've been to a horror movie and jumped, or you were outside walking by yourself late at night and you heard some rustling in the bushes, or you were home alone late at night and something fell on the floor real loud, or someone came up from behind and goosed you and you weren't expecting it. Well, these are examples of how that fear reaction is caused by stress. And chances are that there wasn't a real physical threat. There could have been, but probably not. And yet there was a physiological change in your body because of a psychological reaction in the environment. Now, you've probably heard the phrase, they turned as white as a ghost. Well, what is actually happening in the body is that the blood is rushing away from the skin towards the large muscles in the heart to prepare you for fighting or for running away. So there are actual physiological changes to an emotional perception of something going on in the environment. Think about the last time you were scared. What did you experience? Did your hair stand up on your arm? Did your heart start pounding? Did your stomach get all tense and queasy? Did you turn white? Well, these are examples of actual physiological changes that are going on in your body due to this reaction. Now, I found a really great description of how all these changes occur in the body from helpguide.org, so I just want to read it to you. It says, the fight or flight stress response involves a cascade of biological changes that prepare us for emergency action. When danger is sensed, the brain sets off a chemical alarm. The nervous system responds by releasing a flood of stress hormones, and these stress hormones race through the bloodstream, readying us to either flee the scene or battle it out. Our heart rate and blood flow to the large muscles increase so we can run faster and fight harder. Blood vessels under the skin constrict to prevent blood loss in case of injury. Pupils dilate so we can see better, and our blood sugar ramps up, giving us an energy boost and speeding up reaction time. At the same time, body processes not essential to immediate survival are suppressed. The digestive and reproductive systems slow down, growth hormones are switched off, and the immune response is inhibited. Chronic stress leads to adrenal problems and inability of the adrenal glands to produce energy efficiently and when we need it. Now, I just want to repeat one part of this that I just said because this is so interesting. It says body processes not essential to immediate survival are suppressed. The digestive and reproductive systems slow down, growth hormones are switched off, and the immune response is inhibited. So think about what happens to your body when you're chronically stressed. And you probably know someone, they're always pissed off, they're always angry, they're always worried, they're always stressed out. So when you look at these reactions that are going on in the body, their digestive system slows down, they're not absorbing their food like they should, their reproductive system slow down, so maybe you're having sexual problems, your growth hormones switch off, so you're not developing as fast as you should, your immune response is inhibited, so you don't have the right immune response, and you're able to get sick easier, and you're more susceptible to disease. So these are actually negative physical reactions going on in the body because you are chronically stressed. Now, remember what I said at the beginning of the video, how stress can send you to an early grave? Well, this is what's happening if you are chronically stressed. Now, there's something else you've got to know about stress. A person can only take so much. So think about it like this. If you have a bucket and you keep filling the bucket up with stress and you keep pouring and pouring, eventually that bucket gets full. And in your life, when that bucket gets full of stress, you are going to reach a breaking point. You can actually have a psychotic break. You can actually become insane just because you're stressed out. And torturers have actually known this for years. If you can abuse someone enough, if you can cause them enough emotional and physiological and psychological harm, if you can keep them from sleeping enough, they're going to reach a breaking point. Now, some people have higher breaking points than others, and they have higher tolerance to pain than others. But the point is, no matter who you are, you're going to break. So chronic stress and too much stress can actually cause psychiatric symptoms. Now, there are a host of quote-unquote mental disorders, and they're related to this stress response. So let's take social anxiety, for example. What is that except a stuck fear response? Or phobia. What is phobia except a stuck fear response as well? And post-traumatic stress. That is an extreme stress reaction to a particular incident. And there's actually something called intermittent explosive disorder or road rage, and all that boils down to is an extreme anger response connected to stress. So what we're saying here is that chronic stress and too much stress can actually cause mental health problems. So there's actually a connection between stress and mental health. And when someone has high amounts of stress, they can actually have psychiatric problems. And when someone has low amounts of stress, they can actually be more well-adjusted, be happier, and be more emotionally stable. Now let's just talk about some of the symptoms that you experience when we're stressed. Physical symptoms include headaches or backaches, muscle tension and stiffness, diarrhea or constipation, nausea and dizziness, insomnia, chest pain, rapid heart beating, weight gain or loss, skin breakouts, loss of sex drive, and frequent colds. Now, what are some of the effects of stress cognitively or psychologically? Well, they include memory problems, indecisiveness, inability to concentrate, trouble thinking clearly, poor judgment, seeing only the negative, anxious or racing thoughts, constant worrying, loss of objectivity, and fearful anticipation. Now, what are the emotional effects of stress? Well, these include moodiness, agitation, restlessness, short temper, irritability, impatience, inability to relax, feeling tense and on edge, feeling overwhelmed, sense of loneliness and isolation, and depression or general unhappiness. Now, what are some of the behavioral or psychiatric effects associated with stress? Well, they include eating too much or eating too little, sleeping too much or too little, isolating yourself from others, procrastination and neglecting responsibilities, using alcohol, cigarettes, or drugs to relax, nervous habits such as nail biting and pacing, teeth grinding or jaw clenching, overdoing activities such as exercising or shopping, overreacted to unexpected problems, and picking fights with others. So you probably figured out through watching this video that stress is your enemy. It's either going to kill you, reduce your quality of life, or cause you psychiatric problems. So what are you going to do about it? How are you going to alleviate this stress? Well, unfortunately, we are out of time for today. I am going to make another video and it's going to be posted soon, so you may want to subscribe so that you know when it is posted. But stay tuned, and we're going to talk about ways to alleviate stress, the top 10 ways to reduce your stress and to combat it. So stay tuned.